for July 16th. Sherry, can we get a roll call?
Yep. Chair Trent,
Yes.
Vice Chair Murphy,
Here.
Commissioner Graham,
Here.
Commissioner Chesley remote,
Present.
and one vacancy.
Okay, perfect. Commissioner Graham, you mind leading us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. All right, Lucas, so get the approval of the agenda. Any changes?
I'll speak for Lucas, and there are no changes to the agenda. Thank you.
Perfect. And Maura, are you going to be leading this meeting today?
I have an item to present.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, because I noticed Lucas doesn't have a microphone.
Oh, if he needs to speak,
No one wants to hear him talk.
I can
get
always
it.
pass it over.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, good, good deal. All right, so this section of the meeting is set for public communications. This is time set aside during the meeting for members of the public to address the commission on items of city business other than scheduled agenda items. I have one speaker card, Larry Steingold.
Good afternoon, good evening. I'm curious, latest update from, I don't know if this would be the venue, but the latest update on the Public Works yard. That's the right venue. Also, any update on the property dispute over on Mallory between people who are thinking it's encroaching or what have you? Went to some lot line issues and closeness and what have you. That was supposed to get rectified somehow. Somebody asked, I'm just asking to see how it's going.
We've not been told.
Yeah, and this, we shouldn't be commenting on anything,
Oh,
any
okay.
projects, but,
Fine.
yeah, appreciate it, thank you. Okay, consent items, minutes of the prior meeting. Anybody have any changes?
None.
None? Motion?
I move acceptance of the prior minutes.
Second. Yeah,
Second?
please.
No, go ahead.
A second.
All right, perfect. Sherry?
Chesley,
I was not present.
okay, Graham,
Aye.
Murphy,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes. All right, perfect. Disclosures of site visits, ex parte contacts. I have had no ex parte contacts. I have visited both sites.
I met the owners of Ojai Ice Cream about 6 weeks ago, sitting next to them at dinner. Lovely conversation. When I told them I was on the planning commission, they had nothing but nice things to say about the city department, and they did not bring up the issue about the bench. Surprised to see this on the agenda tonight. Hello. Site visits, I did take a look at the downtown corridor this afternoon, just to be able to be ready to discuss my thoughts about the matter.
Perfect. Jonathan?
No ex parte meetings and no site visits.
Okay, thank you. Judy?
I have visited both sites and have had no ex parte contacts.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll move on to the public hearing item, appeal of director determination regarding the arcade and the orange bench. I tried to summarize that the best I could. Okay. Okay, good deal. Maura, are you going to lead the discussion for us?
Yes, I am. Thank you. My name is Maura Macaluso. I'm the principal planner for the city of Ojai, and thank you, Chair and Commissioners. This is an appeal of a director determination upholding Section 10.2.2005 of the Ojai Municipal Code that refers to any design guidelines or policies that have been adopted by the council or commission. The specific guidelines in this case are the design guidelines, are the arcade design guidelines adopted by the City Council in 2008. These guidelines speak to colors, lighting, signage, outdoor seating, and other outdoor elements that are within the historic arcade. In August of 2024, the City of Ojai Code Compliance Officer received a complaint regarding placement of an orange metal bench in the arcade in front of 210 East Ojai Avenue. The Code Compliance Officer reached out to the business owner, informing that installation or placement of a bench in the public right-of-way, or of an orange metal bench in the public right-of-way, was in violation of the arcade design guidelines. So the Code Compliance Officer indicated the business owner wanted to discuss compliance options with city staff. Unfortunately, due to staffing changes at that time, the case wasn't revisited again until May of 2025.
It's not showing on the screen.
Oh, thank you. Here I am thinking I'm sharing the screen this whole time.
Mhm.
About that. Thank you.
Oh, look at that.
So this is not my first rodeo, but you would think that it was. And I'm going to start from the beginning here and just show you the pretty pictures, and going to get you to where we are.
It's all right, take your time.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. I did go through this before the meeting. Okay, so the Code Compliance Officer indicated the business owner wanted to discuss compliance options with city staff, as I said. And I also stated that due to staffing changes at that time, the case wasn't revisited until May of '25. At that time, city staff and the business owner discussed potential options, including replacing the orange bench with a bench that was consistent with the arcade design guidelines and arcade bench program. As the orange bench does not meet the guidelines and needed to be removed. Second. So in June of '25, city staff sent a notice of violation to of the arcade guidelines letter to the applicant requiring removal of the bench no later than a date certain, which happened to be June 17th, 2025, or risk citation by the Code Compliance Officer. The business owner requested information regarding an appeal of the director's determination at that time with staff. On June 21st, the City Code Compliance Officer delivered a $64 citation to the business owner for failure to remove the bench in the time that was given. And on June 25th, the business owner submitted an appeal to the director's determination to the city clerk's office. And issuance of citations ceased at that time. And the one citation was paid by the applicant. Staff is recommending that the commission support the director's determination pursuant to 10.2.2005, which is reference to design guidelines and policies of the municipal code, and approve the resolution that's affirming the community development director's decision to require that the orange bench be removed and by a date certain. That would be determined by the commission. We do have the applicant here, and that's my presentation. If you have any questions.
All right, any questions for staff?
No.
Nope, okay.
I do have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What about John?
If this is not resolved,
Oh, yeah.
what is the next logical step from the city's perspective? We've fined the applicant and owner once. What happens next?
Well, the applicant has asked for an opportunity to speak, and I don't mean it at this second, I'm just saying, in general, he wanted to be able to come before a body and state his case. And he actually acknowledged this evening that he's getting that opportunity this evening, and so
Okay.
to appeal the decision that was made. And so what happens after that? Well, I'm going to pass this over to Lucas now.
There's a couple different scenarios that could play out. I know the applicant, or it's actually the appellant in this case, the owner is going to speak. If tonight you uphold the determination that the director myself made and basically adopting the resolution for the denial, then it ends there. But he can also, as the owner, as the appellant, can appeal to city council. So that's the next step.
Totally get that piece. Let's say we approve the resolution, his application is denied, and the bench remains there. It's a permanent fixture right now. It's bolted into the ground. It's been there since the complaint was made. It's been there since, the fine was issued. If this is not resolved, right?
So then it goes back to co-compliance. And at that point, co-compliance is a number of different ways to seek compliance with the standards as they exist, specifically within the arcade design guidelines. So at that point, it goes back to co-compliance. Right now, it's paused. There was a citation that was issued. They paid it, but they're acknowledging, but then also recognizing they wanted their day before this body.
Yeah.
But do the fines increase in nature? Is there something that happens with their
That's
business
correct.
license?
They do increase. I don't want to speak specifically about any sort of strategies from a co-compliance standpoint, because those tend to stay in-house and close to the chest to try to find resolutions. Could citations be an option? Yes. Is that the option? No. We're always looking for alternatives to get this resolved. We have already had conversations. Well, I haven't specifically, but I know Mara has had conversations in terms of taking a look at some of those other options for compliance.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jonathan, any questions?
No, not to staff.
Okay. I did have a question. In the packet, it was mentioned that there are some other businesses that might have stuff that might not necessarily be in compliance. Don't know if we received any complaints on it, but I did just do a quick glance. I noticed in one of the businesses there was a table and chairs out in front of their business. It wasn't permanent. So, and they also mentioned that this bench used to be taken in every night after close of business, they'd bring the bench in, and it wasn't permanent. So, does code allow for non-permanent items to be on the arcade?
No, the guidelines are pretty specific, and they're included in your packet. And no, permanent or temporary, it doesn't matter. And the reason you mentioned the other items that are in the arcade, we're pretty much complaint driven.
Yeah, for sure.
And so
you haven't gotten any complaints on those?
Right.
And that includes sandwich boards and that kind of thing too?
We're working, Lucas would like to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. So in the end of June, City Council approved authorization for Community Development Department to hire an additional staff member, which puts us into a category where we're going to be transitioning from a complaint-driven co-compliance officer or officers to a proactive approach. Now, I'm not saying that just rolls the red carpet out for us to start just divvying up.
Sure.
It's going to be strategic in terms
Yeah,
of how we address that, and it's going to be going about council, I think, in 2 meetings, essentially. So what that means is that for now, we are complaint-driven. So if we're not hearing complaints, we're not seeking these out.
Right.
The bench was a complaint, and that's why we're addressing it. To your note, Mara and I have had that conversation offline in terms of identifying that there are violations out there, but we're not going after those unless someone complains.
Right. Okay. So it's not necessarily the permanent nature of the bench itself. It's okay.
No.
Okay, cool. I was just curious. Okay. the applicant. I believe that's John and, I totally apologize. Cody, did you, yeah, come on up, come on up.
Before the timer starts, just
You guys don't need the timer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys
Okay.
are good. Yeah, yeah.
thank you for seeing us.
Yeah.
First of all we wanted was to be able to speak as opposed to just sort of a nameless, faceless kind of person who now is not nameless and faceless, emailing or somebody stopping by in the store and never
Sure.
reaching us. We wanted to have an opportunity to talk about it. Just to note, the bench that we currently have is not bolted to the ground. It's not,
Oh,
it
okay.
can be moved, but it's substantial enough that the kids, we can't have them haul it into the store.
Right.
Or behind the store every single night. So we couldn't do that, but we didn't permanently bolt it in there.
Okay, got it.
Okay, thank you for seeing us. We love this town. We love Ojai. I love Ojai for many reasons, not the least of which is because my wife was raised here and she's from Ojai, and I love her. We love the community, we love the people here, the spirit of the town, the outdoors, the feeling of community, and it's that community where this community where people actually care about one another and take an interest in each other and are there to support one another that we think is so special. We're committed to Ojai, and we try to do our town proud every single day. We love owning and operating the ice cream store, to be a part of the Ojai experience for all the residents, but also for the thousands and thousands of tourists that come through our shop every year. We love having them feel a little bit of what Ojai is all about. Meet some local kids. We only hire kids that are local, that work in the store, have an ice cream, and sit outside in front of our store and soak it all in. And we feel very honored to represent Ojai in that way. All that said, you know that we have had a difference of opinion about the orange bench. I came here with the intent of standing up for my right to sit down. Thank you. But as you know, listen, we have a difference of opinion, and we believe strongly that the bench should stay, that it's not an eyesore, that it's not a hazard, that it's not in the way. I have pictures also, which I could share, of people sitting on the opposite benches with dogs in between them and a stroller going through. It's not an obstruction. And we don't believe that it's contributing negatively to the overall well-being of the arcade, and it's not adversely affecting the town of Ojai in any way. That's our opinion. It's simply a bench for people to sit down on and relax, and it's consistent with the color scheme of our store. Heck, as you know, I'm so passionate about this, if you've looked at your packets, about keeping the bench, that we've written a poem about it.
Saw that.
So
Very, very good.
tried to be a little creative about
That
the
was
orange
great.
bench. We currently have 340. We started a campaign with a QR code just on the bench. If anybody wanted to sign up, they could. And we have 340 signatures of people that feel similarly to we do. And what we're asking for is, because we understand the design guidelines, and what we're asking for is some sort of special dispensation to keep the bench there. And we're grateful for the opportunity to petition and state our case to the council. So here we are. So plain and simple, we'd like the bench to stay. However, having said all of that, Maura, our great city planner here, we started a lot of back and forth conversation via email, et cetera. She was incredible, is incredible, over the last year about the bench. And there's a signature at the bottom of her email which says, as one of the city planners, or the city planner, that her mission is, quote, to protect the integrity of Ojai. And to be 100% clear, we also want to protect the integrity of Ojai. That is paramount to us. So that's the thing that that's most important. We love this town, and we would never want to adversely affect it. So even though we're very passionate about the bench, and we think it should stay, if you truly believe that the bench negatively impacts the town, or is a harbinger for further chaos, or whatever it may be, and I don't know who made the complaint, I haven't seen the complaint, I don't know what the issuance, what the basis of the complaint was. I'm not sure if it was unpleasing to the eye or somebody bumped into it. I have no idea.
They didn't like Ojai Orange.
Or they didn't like Ojai Orange. But to state it very clearly, we will find a solution that remedies this, because as I said before, the most important thing to us is that we love Ojai, we're happy to be a part of this community, and we only want to positively contribute to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to public comments. I have Joanne Hammerin. All right.
Okay, so, thank you so much, John. I've never met you, and I came into your shop after I read that article about them trying to get rid of the bench, and I talked to your girl behind the counter, and I'm
Oh,
like, this
ma'am,
is...
sorry, can you address us?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so, city council members, I refute...
Oh, planning commission, sorry. City council's the other folks.
Oh,
Planning commission.
Planning Commission.
Yes.
Planning Commission members, I refute the idea that the orange bench in front of the Ojai ice cream is an eyesore or just doesn't fit, or doesn't fit with the motif of the arcade. There's no hidden agenda for the bench. There's no political, racist, gender-bending, or religious implication. In fact, John Berg wrote a cute poem about the bench. I think it should stay. After all, Ojai is known for oranges, pixies, and sorry, and the sign is orange. The Ojai ice cream sign is orange. The whole store is orange. They even sell pixie ice cream, which is orange. This town is based. I mean, we sell oranges, and we had pixie oranges. It's an orange bench. It's an orange bench. That's all it is. So anyway, let me get to my second page here. Let me see here. Sorry. Did one of the okay? I think I know the answer because you guys mentioned there was a complaint. So it must not have been a city council member that saw the orange bench and said, this just doesn't look right." Maybe it was a local, and I doubt it was a tourist who doesn't like the bench. So anyway, in fact, you are aware. I heard you say you are aware that Yumi, the Japanese place that's halfway down the arcade, has a white table and two white chairs. Their sign is white. Again, white with white goes together, just like orange with orange goes together. So why are you picking on small business owners? You should concentrate on businesses like the hospital, because they tore down the rehab center, had to have been 2 years ago, and they erected a fence to protect people from getting into the demolition process. And I live at Hitching Post, which is right across, right behind the library, or I'm sorry, right behind the hospital. And you know, I'm sorry, but they erected this fence, and it's I have it written down here. I should just go with what I have written down. Okay, so the Hitching Post residents closest to the hospital have no egress in case of a fire coming from Church to Road direction. The fence was supposed to be temporary, I'm sure. They have not taken it down yet. If there was a fire coming from Church Road, I have no way to get out the other direction because the fence is still up. You should concentrate on big businesses like that, not little business people. So, and I myself had to borrow bolt cutters just to cut off the metal clips holding the bench against the fence. So anyway, I think that what's most important, instead of quibbling over an orange bench, which basically lets people rest and enjoy their ice cream, and you should just, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Mr. Bill Miley.
Hello. To be out front, my body is almost as old as the arcade.
I highly doubt that, Bill. I highly doubt that.
I'm about 7 to 10 years younger. Okay. There are no other type benches in the arcade than the wooden ones, and they're likely all the same. Obviously, the owners probably knew that the metal orange bench was 100% different in color and structure than the arcade guidelines call for. However, it matched their color inside, and I would suspect it's part of their marketing plan. However, just to give you an end comment here, I have a new option. You replace the bench with an approved wooden bench, and then you place a label on it entitled Orange Bench. So I read the guidelines. There's a color palette. The wooden benches are illustrated. The arcade is historical. I don't understand why this didn't go to the Historical Preservation Commission, other than it was a clear violation of the guidelines. I personally find the orange color does not blend with the arcade colors. Maybe that's obvious. It seems to vibrate off color, and create a dissonance. I don't have any orange, okay? That's part of my age. The metal frame does sharply contrast with the arcade materials and seems out of its environment. It's been there since 1917. Oh, okay, that's 15 years. However, it seems to maintain its value. It's part of the Ojai history. It's the center of town. It's the center of our culture. And so I firmly believe the guidelines should be followed, or the color orange should be put on the palette. And should the co-owners want a sitting structure there, which I would want, select one of the wooden ones and put the sign orange bench on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Steingold.
Good evening. Hi. I like orange benches. I like sitting. All right, it's a great thing. My concern is that it will automatically lead to 24 other benches, because there are 25 businesses in the arcade, and everybody now can have a bench at any color, any type, make it out of plastic, make it out of glass, make it whatever you want, do whatever you want to do, all right? If you open the door. If that's what the mission is and your intent, and if that's what you want to do, try it. Go rent 25 benches and stick them out in the arcade. And then put another 25 benches on the back end for all those businesses, if that's how you're going to add benches. Not against it, just understand what predictable consequences are. We're talking 50 benches. At 4 people, great, everybody gets to sit down. But what does 25 benches under the arcade look like? I don't know. Is it going to look like Wilmington, Delaware, or Mystic, or Venice, or is it going to be honky-tonk with different colors and whatever? Doesn't matter if that's what you want. If that's what the public wants and that's what we all want, then do it. But we have standards, we have codes, we have this, we have that. And unfortunately, the phrase he used was special dispensation, okay? And I'm sorry, okay, for me to say I like it here and I love Ojai and I want to try to keep Ojai as Ojai and keep it lame and simply Ojai and keep the reasons why I hear. I don't want special dispensation to change Ojai so that I can fit it. It's not personal. I like their ice cream. I spend a lot of money there for my grandchildren. Okay, it's really good ice cream, all right? You got to go back to the car.
Larry.
Where you buy more, you get some, okay? But other than that, I just think you're opening the door and you have to consider that. You can say, hey, fine, Bill Miley, add more wooden tape, more wood. But if I want to spend 25 grand and drop it off to the city and say, go buy 50 more benches, right? They're 500 apiece or 600 apiece. I've just donated all these benches. I'm not saying I will, but pretend that they're there and see what the ramifications are of putting benches all over the place of different colors and different shapes and different. So please take that into consideration, not what it, well, the bench is nice, just the problems it can cause.
Thank you. All right, Brian Akins.
Hello, everyone. Brian Akins, Commissioner on the Historic Preservation Commission next month, 12 years, but not here representing the commission. To answer Bill Miley's question on why didn't this come before the HPC, I asked that same question August 15th at 8:10 a.m. and was told pursuant to section 10-2.2005, the director shall refer to any design guidelines, I'm guessing because the director made the decision that it was kind of kept in-house for our liaison to then come to this meeting. So to answer Bill Miley's question. So because of that, I'm just going to share some observations real quick. I walk the arcade every time I'm up here to city council or to the at the library, which is often. I ran out of time, so I drove by slowly. Today, there were 9 sandwich boards that were out there. That's the highest I've ever seen. I was the one that filed a formal complaint when the window there by the pharmacy and then the window where the Chamber of Commerce was were covered in stickers of all varieties. And so I filed that formal complaint. It was taken care of the city, and I haven't seen any stickers up there since, so it worked. So I'm all about keeping things clean, as they should be. Again, sandwich boards, stickers, guidelines. I know the guidelines, again, if you look on the last page of that, the section 4 in there, it says, and the HPC will make a decision on the paint. I just wanted to throw that in there, that we're actually consulted in that application. So the third thing I would like to do, and I talked about this briefly at the HPC meeting, which we had last Thursday, and walked around the subject carefully because it was something that wasn't before us, is that in the HPC meeting, we have had a new sign that was coming before us. We had the color palette that was before us that's called out in the guidelines. However, I made a motion, it was seconded, and then the vote was 3-2 in favor of allowing that business to have an orange, as in pixie orange, in that sign. Again, it passed 3-2. Now, whether that motion will go forward, affect any changes, wasn't meant to affect any changes. It was only meant to address that one sign. So again, I just wanted to pass those different items along to you to keep in mind. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. And I apologize if I get this name incorrect. It's just hard to read the writing, but is it Dwayne or Delaney? Delaney, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a tremor in my hand. It makes printing so challenging.
No worries.
I'm here to root for the orange bench. I am a regular at the ice cream store. I was not under the previous owner because it was horrible ice cream. But these guys have got it down. And what I have noticed, because as I say, I'm a regular, I go all times of day, all days of the week. And it's usually groups of people, like families, or but it's not just like 1 or 2 people together, usually. It's more than that. And the bench outside is simply, the one that the city's got there, is simply not enough. And ice cream is a messy business. I don't really think Raines wants families with kids with drippy ice cream cones coming through the store, nor do the other stores on the arcade. You know, I mean, all I see is joy outside of their store. And to the point of, yes, they can have the families, the benches can be crowded, and you can still get strollers and dogs and everything else through there. I've witnessed that multiple times. Everybody's just smiling and happy about the whole experience. So I don't know who it was that complained, but one complaint does not a huge problem make. I really am in favor of a waiver on this because it matches their building. Ice cream parlors are as old as Ojai. And so I really do think it fits with the design of the store. I think it's tasty. I think it's easily cleaned, which the wood ones are not. And like I say, ice cream is messy. If you've ever had children, you know they drip it everywhere. So it's really nice to have a surface like that the kids inside can come out and just like wipe right down. So I really want you to think about this, because this argument of if you let one person do it, everybody's going to do it. No, everybody isn't going to do it. And if people want to do it, then maybe they can submit for a waiver. And if it really makes sense, fine. But with food, it's different than Raines or a dress shop or other things. And quite frankly, for the city that has more elders than any other city in the county, I can tell you that everybody wants to sit down. and often, and especially in the heat and stuff. So I really think this is like making a mountain out of a molehill. It's a very pristine looking, bright little orange, and I like the idea of maybe you add orange to the color palette, and if other people want benches, you can go for the orange, because it's true, we are the home of the pixie tangerine. We market for that all over the world. I just don't think this is a problem. I think this is a really nice solution to a lot of people coming in and getting ice cream cones, because if you've ever seen that place on a weekend, there's like 20 people and they're going out the line. They're out of the building.
Thank you, Delaney.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Carol Smith.
Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, Lucas. We have talked before, but I don't think I've ever met you. I, of course, had the privilege of serving the city for 12 years on the city council. And at the time, we had rotation mayors, which I wish we had now, but so I was mayor twice. There is an appeal procedure which you are following, and that the owners of the ice cream store are following. However, I am in line with Bill Miley that the orange color is not appropriate for the design review guidelines. It's possible, if what Delaney said, where there's a lot of people in the summer and they're crowding up, perhaps the bench could be used in the summer for the crowds, but not an orange one. Definitely not an orange one. It would have to fit the design review guidelines, and then in the winter it could be removed when ice cream season is over, but it has to look like the other benches. An appeal usually is because of hardship, or what we would do that the owners can't abide to, because, again, sometimes a real hardship. I don't think that this is a hardship for the business, but I think it is a hardship for our design review guidelines. So please consider that. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, I live at 23 Taramina Lane in the city of Ojai. I object to you not asking people's addresses, because it's fine that anyone can talk, but the people you serve live in the city. And I think it should be part of the minutes that people know, that you address people. Do they live on Ventura Avenue? Do they live on Ojai Avenue? I think it's nice to know. Plus, if they want follow-up on some of their issues, you have information on them. So just consider that as something that might add to your knowledge, and also knowing who your constituents are. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Carol. All right, anybody online? Sherry?
Nobody raising their hand.
Okay, nobody's raising their hand. All right, we'll go on to discussion. Anybody want to open it up? Oh, we'll close the public hearing and open it up for discussion. Anybody got any items?
Yeah, anyone else before I start?
Judy?
Go for it, Robert.
Jonathan?
You go ahead and get us going, right?
All right, here we go. On the one hand, we have this amazing local business that I think, did a great job of finding this color palette that represents the city. It seems absolutely ridiculous that we're here discussing this, but on the other hand, they are, violating our design guidelines. And if you know me, I'm very much about following the rules, not making exceptions for people where it doesn't make sense. And then there's this third hand, right, where we have all these other businesses down the promenade and the arcade that are not following the design guidelines as well. And so, this gets trickier and trickier, where we're penalizing one business, but we're not actually penalizing all the other businesses that are not following the code and the standards. And so, what feels right here? And I think it's a sticky issue. I really don't know what the right decision here is, but I think we should be looking at all the businesses holistically and really cleaning that up, the arcade, if we're going to further penalize Ojai Ice Cream for having a non-compliant bench. My question to staff, and maybe this is the wrong time to do that,
No, it's okay.
is if they purchased a wooden bench that meets the design guidelines, there's nothing that says they can't paint that wooden bench. It just says you have to buy one of these benches. Are they able to paint the wooden benches? And if so, are they able to paint it orange?
Nope.
I would say no, they're not able to paint the bench. All of the benches are the same. The bench sample is specific. It doesn't come in different colors. It's a natural wood.
So it has, the wooden benches have to stay a natural wooden color. Okay.
Okay.
What else do we have?
Jonathan, anything?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you're right, Robert. It's a complicated one. I mean, I think that some points were brought up for me that seem important to help, I guess, decide what direction, one would want to go in this conversation. I do think that precedence is important, which you're bringing up too, Robert. Like, it feels like on the one hand, we're trying to uphold a precedence that actually isn't being upheld, maybe in a lot of ways throughout the arcade. So that is something we have to kind of think about. I think the guidelines, if you think about the guidelines or talk about them for a second, for me, there's a few kind of key things about it. And there sounds like there's definitely overlap with the values that John expressed in his speech, this idea of, well, he put it as protecting the integrity of Ojai. In the guidelines, it's kind of outlined as historic integrity, those maybe are different things, but, I think that they're in a similar vein. I mean, the other thing that I would be curious to, like, I guess I sort of have a few questions for them, such as, the guidelines call for, colors to be harmonious with the building and adjacent areas and shall otherwise be compatible with the aesthetic goals of the community. I mean, there's some clarity there. There's a little ambiguity, and I'd be curious to hear their thoughts on, how they think that this decision sort of to have this bench in this color, apart from, going with obviously the branding of Ojai Ice Cream, plays into that idea, and if it's like, like Larry said, if we wanted to have a conversation where, oh, well, maybe there is a way we talk about what it means, there's aesthetic goals, but there's also the goals of the community, the aesthetic goals of the community, so if that's a conversation to have, then that's, a little different as well. And maybe just to clarify, it does feel like, there are kind of two items at the start of this. There's the bench in the right of way, as well as it being metal and painted. But it sort of feels like between the internal conversation that's been happening between Ojai Ice Cream and Mora and you guys, that maybe the right of way issue is possibly not as much of an issue. It seems like you are willing to go with just get a wood bench and maybe that's okay. I just wanted to clarify if that's, how much we should be talking about the two elements.
Thank you. Can I respond? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it appears that there's 5 feet between, that there would be 5 feet between the two benches. So, however, if we were to go with a wooden bench, then an exact measurement, of course, would have to be determined, and to make sure that it's accessible, ADA compliant.
Okay. But roughly speaking, it's not so much the sitting, it's not so much the presence of the bench. It is a lot about the materiality and the color and the aesthetic.
It's 100% the design guidelines that were adopted by the council.
Okay.
And less about the location.
Okay.
Awesome.
I think those are all my sort of thoughts to get out there.
Oh, that's good. That was good. Yeah, I think just for clarity for the general public as well, is it's not the functional aspect of having a bench. That's not the problem, right? It's the design choices, it's the color, the material, right? So it's not a functional issue, it's more of a design issue, correct?
It's the fact that we have design guidelines that were adopted by the council and it doesn't match the design guidelines.
Yeah, okay, that's
Right.
fair. I just want to make sure we're clear so the public knows it's not a bench issue.
Right.
Okay, I would just reiterate what Maura just explained. If we have design guidelines, I think we should follow them. If the community feels that this bench is the right way to go and that every store should be able to express their or brand, bring their brand outside, then we should change the guidelines or eliminate them. But we have them, so
Right.
I think they should be upheld. I personally do not tie orange to Ojai, the color. I think it's way out of the guidelines, so on that basis, I would object to the bench as it is. But the sign, Bill, that would work. I question having a second bench there at all, but if 5 feet is sufficient, but when people sit on the bench and they're sitting there with their dogs, because we all have dogs, by the time you have 2 benches full of people, you have really narrowed that sidewalk considerably. So I would be a little concerned about that. So, okay.
People can get out of the way though, which
Bring you up
is
in a second.
Yeah, we'll bring you up.
good.
Go ahead, John.
No, I was just saying, people can shift. I mean, I'm sure most of us have sat on that bench across from another family, sitting on that bench, and if a group comes by, you kind of, you shift out of the way.
Yeah, or you just wait your turn as you're walking through. Having 2 babies with the stroller, we've had to maybe, stop and let other people pass. It doesn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah, I think my only concern would be ADA compliant, but sounds like that might not be a problem.
Right.
Well,
No? Okay. All right.
So
Is the ADA the 5 feet from bench to bench, or does it include the fact that there are people on it?
right, what I was going to say is that when you're looking at accessibility, you're looking at the furniture or the walls or the doors. You're
Okay.
not looking at the people that
People
are,
are-
Okay.
that their knees are now in there.
Got it. Okay. All right.
So the path that I'm thinking is, and please, if you disagree, please disagree with me. I don't think it's fair to penalize them further for this, and I don't think I don't personally think we should vote on this right now. Instead, I think we should wait until this new resource for the planning department starts, where they move from a practice where when someone complains, then they go out, to a more proactive practice. And if the city actually turns this around and starts to actually go after the other businesses for their non-compliance, at that point in time, we look at everyone holistically and we say, you need to move it, you need to get rid of it, or we're going to continue to find every business that's there that's non-compliant. And in that situation, the applicants can continue to use the bench until this is resolved. But it does feel unfair to penalize them. It does feel not right to set precedent to grant an exception. And I personally don't think that we should be voting to uphold Lucas's decision, knowing that there are so many other businesses that are non-compliant right now. It very much seems to single out a single business instead of correcting the underlying issue, which is non-compliance in the arcade.
I think that letting a non-compliant situation continue to exist because others are being non-compliant is not the solution to the problem. I would suggest that they put the bench away for a while if you think that time is going to change this situation. And perhaps once we get our compliance situation more proactive? Is that what you said, Lucas?
You're talking about the transition from
Yeah,
reactive to proactive?
yes.
Right.
I mean, things may change, but I don't think that we should ignore a violation just because there are other violations that haven't yet been complained about, but I suspect they're going to be now. And we'll probably see this come up again.
But as we look at fairness outside, in and within, outside the code, right? We would be penalizing one business in the arcade when you have multiple businesses that are non-compliant. It's not about giving them a pass. It's saying, hey, let's wait and see what our city's actually going to do about enforcing our guidelines instead of, you know, going after one business, which right now it very much is going after one business down there, even though we all see the non-compliance. There are so many sandwich boards. There's a table with 2 chairs. There's a sign that is like a neon sign that's up that you can see from the street that's non-compliant. So it's not like, hey, it's 2 people or 2 businesses and, you know, we're gonna just let everyone slide. What I'm saying is, let's not penalize one business. Let's wait until the city actually turns the reactive approach and then address every one of them at the same time, so it does not feel like we're singling out one business while giving everyone else a pass. Because right now we're giving those other businesses a pass.
But are we just delaying the inevitable?
If we were talking about something that actually hurt, you know, the citizens of Ojai, right, the residents, totally different conversation. We're talking about an orange metal bench that doesn't meet our wooden bench guidelines. And that's where I'm saying, looking at it from an objective standpoint, we should address every business at the same time, or while waiting for, you know, city to figure out how they want to actually do this.
Chair, may I
Yeah,
say
go
something?
ahead,
I just
go
want to add
Yep.
to that a little bit. So code compliance issues, or whatever you want to call them, they're confidential. And so what happens kind of behind the scenes in community development isn't broadcast. And there have been other people that we've been working with within the arcade. And so these people aren't being singled out. There are other people, and there have been things that have been removed, been changed very recently, and in the not too distant past. So, and of course, even before then, I can think of 3 addresses. But again, I can't bring those up here.
Sure.
I'm sorry?
City has discretion.
Right, the city has discretion. So
Keeping discretion.
there's keeping discretion,
Right.
and we have discretion, yes. Yes. So anyway, I think that's really important information for you.
Yeah.
Sure.
These people are not being singled out, nor were those other cases that we dealt with behind the scenes. They just didn't appeal.
But as of
Thank you.
today, there are so many non-compliant issues, like literally right now. And so I don't think it's a knock on the planning department or compliance. Like, it's just literally the nature of being understaffed. And so I want to see the city get to a proactive standpoint where we're addressing the arcade holistically and going after every business that's non-compliant. Or we shouldn't penalize one while we let every other business get away with it.
I kind of look at it like, speeding on the freeway. So it's like, well, everybody's doing it, so should we not pull the guy over who's speeding?
But that
Should we punish everybody?
that
Or
is
do we-
that is an apple to a steak comparison.
Well, I mean, it's
If
kind of.
speeding causes an actual safety issue,
Yeah, no, I understand.
this
but
is a bench that is a
I
different
understand.
color
I
and
understand.
It's a bench, but it is
But it's not the functional aspect
violation
the
of
bench.
what our downtown historical.
totally. And I'm not saying actually approve their appeal.
Well, then why
What I'm saying is,
keep
let's
the bench?
fundamentally fairness would say we go after every business once we have
Well,
the staff to be proactive about it and give them the time to see how we're going to treat every business that is non-compliant in the arcade
Well,
right now.
I see no point. I see what that would lead to is, in time, there will be a transition, and businesses will be encouraged strongly to go along with the guidelines, and then the orange bench will become an issue again. Why wait?
Yeah,
And
we'll
at
have
that
to-
point in time, they would have to remove it, right? But right now,
I don't see the right now case.
Yeah, I just feel
Robert.
like we'd have to go through this all over again.
sure. And again, I appreciate you disagreeing.
Yeah.
I see your point.
And I wanted to call up the applicant. I think, John, you had a comment? If not, that's okay. I just,
Oh, no, it was just about but it seems like it was resolved, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But in the packet that I
Mhm.
sent, I think there is a picture, which I just wanted to highlight, of people passing through
Yeah, okay.
and a stroller, and you can kind of see how wide the passway through
Right.
is there. That's all I was gonna say, but that you've moved beyond that.
okay, no worries, no worries.
Jonathan, did you have a question for the applicants?
Well, yeah, I was curious their thoughts on sort of like specific to the
Sorry, yeah.
to the design guidelines. I think it's fine to say like this should be different, but I guess I would like to see it sort of structured around, well, here are the guidelines, and this is why we think this connects or fits. Oh wow, or fits within the guidelines, or should. So that's kind of my question, is within this sort of the section around colors in particular.
So Jonathan, I apologize. What was your question? I missed that. Was it just around?
The question? Well, I was just wondering if the applicants wanted to speak to how they think that having the orange bench do they feel it's contributing to the neighborhood, or they just feel like it is just an exception and that's all it is? I just wanted to I was curious on their position there.
Like if it complies with the surrounding area and fits in with the overall Ojai motif, so to speak. Is that what you're thinking? Or design guidelines? Yeah. Okay. Did you guys want to address that? Yeah, come on up.
I would say that, there are, in terms of colors, Ojai orange, like the avocados, the pink moment. So there are colors that to me signify Ojai. I do understand, we chose metal partially because of the cleanliness factor, and I understand the wooden nature of it, but the orange was something that we thought, of course, it's part of Ojai ice cream, Ojai oranges are like go-to, and, for that, but expanding beyond just Ojai ice cream, to us it was a part of Ojai. It's, like I said, it's the pink moment, it's the avocado greens and the grounding of the grass and the oranges.
Yeah,
okay.
Pixie oranges are definitely a part of it. And we were, in our application, we were appealing to the aesthetic, part of the design guidelines is sort of the community kind of feeling towards something, which seemed like that gave a little latitude. And it's creative, it's just creative and sort of fun. That's the other thing. It's just, it expresses the spirit and the experience of coming into the ice cream store, we hope, which is that people are happy and about to get happier because they're about to have ice cream.
Good ice cream.
And I just want to say just very quickly, I get the idea of slippery slope, that concept. I fundamentally understand that. I think we all understand that. If you're a parent, you're acutely aware of not allowing.
Think of it like HOA guidelines, kind of same idea.
Yeah, you gotta draw the line somewhere, but I will say that the bench has been there. Again, it's not permanently bolted, but it has been there for 2 years. And what I haven't seen, not because I think anybody's afraid of being fined, I don't think that's what's standing in the way. I haven't seen anyone else. It hasn't caused a rallying cry for bench freedom. Or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We haven't seen rainbow benches and purple benches and avocado benches and, benchy bench. So that's it. I do, it's in the appeal or our query, but it did feel like we were being singled out. I can't speak to the other 2 or 3 people, but there are, as we continue to say, there isn't a consistent procedure. It sort of is a little willy-nilly. The people have stuff all over the place.
Right.
And as long as it's not, it seemed, this isn't to the letter of the law of the design guideline, but it seemed like as long as it wasn't obstructive or dangerous, or a sandwich board isn't going to attack anyone.
Right.
So anyhow, that's it.
I did have one quick question. It was mentioned here that you guys did have a conversation about looking at options, purchasing a bench that would adhere to the guidelines and design standards.
Sure.
I was just curious on why you might not have went that route.
Really simple. I said it in my statement. We're open to a solution. We don't, because we do care about the town. we just wanted a forum. It seems sort of arbitrary, you know, and there was one moment where there was a little bit of a hint, or it felt slightly intimidating. There was sort of like, hey, maybe you're not going to have anything there at all. You know, we can just kind of yank this out of there. So that began to feel a little, hey, wait a second. And that's really where we said, well, hang on, let's just get in front of a council. Let's talk to some folks, and let's just state our case.
See what can happen.
Just to say it, and you guys have seen it, like, we have to have something there. If it doesn't have to be a
Like I
metal
said,
orange
the
bench.
functional bench is not the problem.
We have so many people coming in the store. The interior seating that we have isn't enough, and we do end up, because there are a limited number of benches. People get pushed out to the other benches, and they're sitting there enjoying an ice cream nicely, but there's just not enough room for people to sit.
Would you be opposed to having a wooden bench with a word on there saying orange bench?
Orange bench with the poem? No.
The poem, I like that.
No, simply said, we will subscribe to the guidelines if that's what's being dictated. We'll change to a wooden bench. It is less convenient because it does get sticky and messy, and you have to clean a natural wood as opposed to a finished metal. It is more difficult, but we'll do so. We just wanted the opportunity to talk about, you know, this very issue, which is simply color and material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, understandable.
Is there a clear coat, you know, spray that you can put on a wooden bench that might help with?
Varathane.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can varnish it.
Make it easier to clean up ice cream.
Professional.
Yeah, keep it more sanitary. Absolutely. I'm sure. Yeah, something other than just the unfinished natural wood. Yeah.
What would you do with the orange bench if it was removed?
So,
I don't
by
know.
the fountain.
Would you donate? It's a leading question. Would you
there.
donate
It
it
would work.
to the city of Ojai for a park to have
Sure.
a plaque
Yeah,
that says
Oh, yeah.
donated by Ojai Ice Cream?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Sure. We'd
I like that.
absolutely. We do feel like it's good to sit. We agree with that idea.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I just wanted to add, I know you brought up the word integrity, and I think that was mentioned a few times, and, you know, you want to protect the integrity of Ojai, which I totally agree. I think that's great. I think we also need to consider, you know, protecting the integrity of the arcade. The arcade is a historical landmark. It's been there since 1917. It's kind of our heart and soul of our community. And even though we have businesses that may be non-compliant, you know, eventually it's going to figure itself out. You know, I apologize, or I'm sorry that someone, you know, actually came and complained about the bench to bring you guys here, but I do feel like it was probably something that was going to happen anyway.
Sooner or later with somebody.
Sooner or later with somebody, exactly. And, you know, I think we do have to look to protect the integrity of our arcade. If we think about the arcade as like an art piece,
Yeah.
you know, like, let's say that
yeah.
the arcade is an art piece, like, is it justifiable to go in there and like make some revisions to the art piece because you feel you have the artistic integrity to do that or the artistic right to do that? I mean, that's like drawing a mustache on the Mona Lisa. It's like, you know,
Right.
you
Right.
could do it and it would be artistic, but is that right? Is that what we should do? You know,
Right.
so
No, that would be bad. But if nothing else, if this conversation, and we're grateful, all of us, all the owners, we're one couple of two couples who own the shop. We're grateful for the conversation. If nothing else, if this kind of creates a standard, more of a standard for what's allowed in there, or a greater defense of the guidelines, so that there
greater
aren't
defense
outliers.
of the guidelines. I like that because there is a standard. It
Yeah.
just might not be being enforced. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. And that's for
Exactly.
a variety of reasons. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well,
that's a positive.
I think we've come to consensus. I love it.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for standing up here and saying, Jonathan, did you have anything else, Jonathan?
No, that's great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. All right, anybody else?
Call for the vote.
Okay, anybody want to make a motion?
I will.
Okay.
Let's see. I move that we uphold the director's decision requiring the removal of the orange metal bench from the right-of-way.
Can I make a friendly amendment to that?
Yes.
Advise staff to work with the applicant on the potential purchase of a wooden compliant bench and possible solutions for where the current orange bench could be donated or
Move to a city site.
moved somewhere that would be artistically appropriate.
I accept your friendly amendment.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay. Sherry, will you roll call?
Chesley,
Approved.
Graham,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes. Okay. Good to go. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, moving on. And did you guys have, I guess, you guys were clear on our amendments and everything, right? Yes. Okay, perfect. Oh, yeah, we do have video.
Did you watch it? Oh, yeah? Oh, I'm sure we put you to sleep, yeah.
It doesn't take long for
Okay,
you to go to sleep.
we're gonna take a quick break. Yeah, quick 5-minute
Are we ready? It's been 7 minutes.
All right. We're starting our next item. Everybody ready? Okay, we're good to go. All right, we're going to look at item number 3, design review permit for demolition of existing 1,296 square foot single-story wooden barn and construction of 2,346 square foot two-story replacement metal barn at 1008 Daly. Brian, I think this one's yours.
Yep, indeed it is.
All right.
Okay, so as you heard from the Commissioner Chair, this is a project at 1008 Daly Road regarding a construction of a new two-story barn to replace the existing barn that is in disrepair. Let's see. There we go. Okay, and so as I said, this is located at 1080 Daly Road. It is 1008 Daly Road. Sorry, that is staff error there, and it is within the single-family residential medium-low density zone. Within the residential medium density general plan designation, the lot is 60,112 square feet in size. And the surrounding uses include single-family residential as well as multifamily residential further to the south in the R2 zoning designation. All right. And so we are here today pursuant to Chapter 10, pursuant to Title 10, Chapter 2, Article 20, the design review permit applicability, as the proposed structure involves a second story, which requires a review before the Planning Commission. As you can see depicted here in the photo, the top is the existing barn and the bottom is the new proposed two-story barn. And the proposed structure, the existing structure is 1,296 square feet. The proposed first story will be also 1,296 square feet, built upon this same existing footings, except it will include a first-story covered front porch addition of 360 square feet and a 540 square feet second-story addition, which includes a 150 square feet covered second-story deck, totaling to a total square footage of 2,346 square feet. Let's go next. And so a little overview of the design. It is designed in a rural fashion, as it is a barn. It presents as a barn, which is lovely. And the walls would be constructed out of metal and painted in earth tones. And it will include a natural stone siding stem wall, which is essentially the foundation beneath the metal siding of the wall. And we can see that here in the colors and materials. So this brownish, which is dubbed as weathered copper, is the color of the vertical seam striated roof. And the eave trim will be colored felt green, And the main primary color of this, which will be the wall, would be colored patina green.
Brian, may I interrupt you for a moment? Is that patina green on the screen anywhere near the real color? The picture that you showed before showed kind of a gray-green, and this looks, what's on the screen looks really blue, so I'm just wondering if you have seen the actual color?
Yeah, so we have the actual material board. Yeah, we will have that provided soon. Yeah, Moore is grabbing it.
Great.
But yeah, I mean, it seems, you know, when a actual picture is taken, it can be somewhat of a bad game of telephone as far as the way the color actually looks. So yeah, we will have that for reference soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and here's the proposed site plan. And as I was saying, the only change in the building footprint is going to be this front porch, this covered porch addition of 360 square feet, which extends out 10 feet to the east.
Wow.
Oh, that's different from the.
Wow, yeah, that's quite different.
Yeah.
Quite different from
Wow.
Yeah, right?
either of those.
And as you can see, all of the setbacks are identified accordingly, and they're all consistent with the RO zoning designation. Okay, and for the recommendation, we recommend that the commission adopts a resolution approving the design review permit, DRP 258, subject to the findings and conditions of approval provided in the associated resolution.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Cool. Any questions for staff? Outside of the color palette?
No.
Which was a very good question, by the way. That was great. Jonathan, are you out there in TV land? Any questions? Nothing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I did just want to say, Brian, this is really well written, very straightforward. Thank you.
Yeah,
of
nice
course.
job. Thank you.
Yes. The description that came in also was very thorough, left no questions.
Let's see. I think I did. All right, so we're evaluating this because it's 2 stories, obviously, and we're looking at the design standards, context, continuity, scale, and architecture, right? Okay. So what we're trying to do too is look at how this fits into the surrounding area, which you guys have provided a nice overview on the context, continuity, scale, and architecture. So thank you for that. It's very good. Also the general plan consistency and also the LU5, which I wasn't real familiar with, so it's interesting. I don't know how many LU areas we have in our zoning. 18. Oh, that's land use. Okay. I was like, okay, all right. Oh, I got it. Okay, never mind. Oh, that's right. Isn't
there like 18 of them?
Okay, so that's LU5, but it's in R0. Okay, that makes sense. All right. That was my bad. All right, no further questions. I did have a couple speaker cards. So,
Maybe just quick question, actually.
Yeah.
Chair. How do we know how visible like this is from the road?
Andrew Street?
Yeah, so it's set back 12 feet from Andrew Street. There's an access gate there, but it is heavily screened by the existing trees that are on site, and thus is hardly visible.
Great, thank you.
And I think is one of the applicants, Chris? Is Chris? Oh, Chris.
We
And
have
Chris,
the
you don't
owner
have to.
online.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The owner's online with his hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought Chris was the owner. I apologize. Yeah, if the owner could speak, that would be fantastic.
He's on.
Okay. Is that,
I've had a lot of trouble with my Zoom on this end, so am I audible?
yeah, we can hear you, Jim.
Okay, great. Just my camera doesn't work for some reason. So I'm happy to address any questions you might have on the project.
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Any questions?
No, not at this
No?
time.
Jonathan?
No, not at this time.
Nope. I did have one quick question, and this is something that we bring up to most everybody that comes up here. In regards to fire hardening, it looks like you're using all metal components, so that's great. I just wanted to make sure you were following, what fire hardening code and fire code is, and I'm sure you are, but I just wanted to reiterate that.
I think that's the whole point of the project.
Perfect.
We're getting rid of a wooden structure and putting in a metal one.
Right. Okay. And you did mention that the prior structure had some, the roof was leaking, is that correct?
Well, yeah, the roof was 30 years old and the shingles had deteriorated and the solar system that was put up there had caused leaks. And the plywood was rotting and some of the rafters were decayed. So the entire wooden structure up there was becoming compromised. So we had to change the roof. Our initial thought was just put a raised center aisle addition on top of the existing thing, but that for many reasons does not work, mainly engineering things. And so we just came around to the concept that we are going to have to replace the building. It didn't make sense to put a new roof on an old building that is basically deteriorating.
Right. And I noticed obviously you're making this one bigger. And is the intention of the building the same as the prior?
No, it's a completely different intention. And I can back up a little bit on that. We had horses on the property and we moved our horses to another property in Arizona. The horses are not coming back. We don't have intention of keeping livestock anymore. It's inconsistent with the neighborhood based on complaints we've had over decades actually about dust and this and that, flies, whatever. So our horses are in a much better place, but we would like to be able to park our cars in our garage. We had rodent damage to our automobiles and right now they're being parked outside. And the garage is housing our hobby collection. Basically, I do wood art, my son does metal art, and we want to get all those tools out of there in a much more spacious location where they can be used. And it's going to help our neighbors a lot, actually, because the sound will be insulated. It'll be in an enclosed building. And it's not like we're knocking out projects every day either. We're pretty occasional, but we'd like to get our garage back, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the long-term goal, and getting all this other stuff out of the garage and into a building where it can be utilized efficiently. So that's the main objective. Then the upstairs part, that's going to be for soft hobbies, things that don't involve tools, and I'm not even sure when we're going to get that second story floor in. Initially, it'll just be for light, I think, but kind of planning this as we go.
Okay. Well, perfect. All right. Well, thank you for that. Anybody else have questions? No?
No.
Okay. All right. We will move on to public comment. Thank you, Jim. I have 2 speaker cards. Chris. Thank you, Chris. Sorry about that confusion earlier.
Hello. I have just a few questions. One you just brought up actually was the noise. If we're going to put machinery in there and you're working wood, and how loud is it going to be? And you know, we live fairly close by, and that's obviously a concern I hadn't even thought about.
And I don't know if, Jim, if you wanted to address that? If you're still online? Jim, are you there?
I was muted.
No, you're good.
I guess I need to know where you live to address your sound concerns.
Oh, I don't know if you need that, but how much decibels and how noisy is it going to be?
Well, have you ever heard a table saw running?
Yep, it's pretty loud.
That depends on the table saw, actually.
But I did
saws
wanna...
make noise, and band saws make noise, and planers make noise, and jointers make noise. Those are my main tools. But the use of them is pretty both episodic and not continual.
And I did want to call out that you did make mention of this, Jim. You currently do that today. And this new structure should improve the sound. And go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Are you doing your wood construction in the same location that, in the building that's going to be torn down?
No.
So
right now,
you're further away from Chris, where you're currently running your equipment, right?
Our tools are in our garage. It faces south on the front of the lot by the flag. That is the driveway. So it faces toward the Gaddis property, which is south of us, and the Horowitz property, which is southwest of us. And typically, because it's in the garage and we don't have a lot of space, I run those tools with the garage doors up and the sound going out into the neighborhood. And we intend to sound insulate the new building and run them inside an insulated building. So I can't see how it could be worse. It has to be better.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Well, maybe you guys want to do some more work on that and just find out about the noise levels.
Yeah, and just so you know, Chris, there is a noise standard in town, and if you feel it's beyond those levels, you can always file a complaint. I think the city can go out and inspect it.
Okay. Now, the other thing we're worried about is reflection from the structure itself. I don't know if the materials used will be highly reflective or not. They seem fairly dark.
Yeah, pretty dark.
Maybe off the windows.
And so no big trees have been removed.
Doesn't sound like it.
It's fairly visible because we could see the old barn, we could see the roof of the old barn. And now we'll be seeing a whole new second story. I didn't have any other questions.
No other questions? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Larry Steingold? Oh, one more. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Larry Steingold. I am not a neighbor. I live on the corner of Drown and Pleasant. I've been asked to make some comments on this by somebody who wishes to remain anonymous. Questions are, is all metal construction allowed within an R2 zone, RO zone in Ojai? All metal construction. Will there be plumbing in this facility? Can people sleep there? These are questions that were asked. Noise. The metal, the woodworking, the window's going to be closed. Are they going to be open? Is this a hobby? Are they monetizing this? Could they monetize it? Can it be a home business? And it's the noise. It's rip saws in the afternoon. These are the questions that they asked me to ask. So it's a sound thing. Open windows, closed windows. Is it fully air conditioned? Do they close the windows, have triple pane? have no windows, do their thing inside, and that's great. I mean, this is, how late can they do it? It's all residential. I live down the street and sound travels.
Sure.
And 10 o'clock, 8, and it doesn't matter. So these are questions that obviously have been asked of you. I'm asking them by somebody else who's asked, so.
And Jim, elaborate, but this is hobby work, correct?
This is correct. We have no intention for ever having any commercial impact. This is for our own purposes and our own enjoyment of our property. Has nothing to do with selling anything to anyone.
That's fine. That answers that question. The other one was obviously the noise, the metal cutting, and that's travels, and how do they, wait for a complaint, or does somebody stand there with a decibel meter and go, oh, it's repetitive?
I think it's like most things, that
Well,
you hear the
quite
noise.
frankly,
file a
we don't
complaint.
like noise either. In fact, we hate the weed blowers.
I mean, their neighbors who have
made
asked, and they're like,
numerous calls to the city about leaf blowers. Anyway, I don't like noise either. We intend to have mini split air conditioning, and we intend to have an enclosed building where we can work comfortably and where we won't disturb the neighbors.
is the air
I've
compressor?
had almost 4 decades of disturbing neighbors.
I'm
All right, thank you, Jim.
No, I disturb
And I'm
neighbors too.
tired of disturbing the neighbors.
If there's an air compressor, will it be inside?
It's inside, yes.
And a dust collector inside?
And it's California Air Tools, which you can stand next to and have a conversation.
Whatever, fine.
Okay, all right, thank you,
Thank you
Jim.
very
much.
Thank you, Larry. All right.
Jim,
okay.
Jim, is there going to be plumbing in this?
Well,
new-
yes, we intend to have a laundry sink, at least initially, and perhaps a toilet.
Okay. And then this is a question for staff, but all metal building construction would be part of the BAB, right? That wouldn't be us. As far as what the building is constructed out of, materials.
Wait, I'm sorry, can you repeat the
So
question?
would that be that would be part of the building appeals board? I mean, that wouldn't be us. That wouldn't be our body that would be voting on how this could be constructed, correct? Like what materials?
I'm gonna pass that over.
It's Title IX, right? That's not Title 10.
That's correct. And so what you're looking at is, as was in the staff report, is the context and the
Yeah.
continuity and such, and how it blends with the neighborhood.
Right.
And our municipal code doesn't address the type of materials, metal versus wood.
That's Title IX, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Question for
Yeah.
staff. Are we supposed to take into consideration in this decision the potential use of the structure? Or are we only looking at this from a design standpoint, the fact that it's 2 stories and the surrounding, look and feel and character of the neighborhood?
Yes,
That's what you
yes.
said.
No, sorry, will you, yeah, there's 2 choices.
Yes, as in, we are only considering this from a design perspective because it is not a change of use. The use remains consistent. It is a ancillary structure to a existing residential use.
Yeah, thank you.
Jim was kind enough to elaborate a little bit further for us.
Sure. Costs too many other questions.
Yes.
Jim, could you tell us why there's a balcony deck?
It's cool.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Right now, I don't see a use for it, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It does add to the impact of a second floor to the neighborhood, is why I was interested.
I found it very illuminating from Brian's report. The second story, sure, there's other 2-story buildings, especially the one on Andrew Drive that it's very, very near to. But also the second floor is actually an extension of 5 feet in height.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, because the barn was higher than a normal single-story
Right,
building.
so this is a little higher, and would be, it's those projections of the roof on the second floor deck that as a neighbor, I would go, why?
I don't know if that's, it's got a pretty good tree canopy. It's slightly higher than the current one. What is the current height on the barn?
Yeah, I think he had it right. It was like 5 feet higher.
5 feet higher? Okay, so that's not too much.
Hey, Jim, quick question.
Sure.
So the doors that roll up at the front of the barn,
Uh-huh.
I think there's like 3, maybe there's 2 or 3. Which way are they facing? Are they facing Andrew Road or Andrew Drive?
Oh, they face into our yard.
Great. So the sound, if you kept that door open, is actually going to funnel towards your house and not your neighbor's
Correct.
house. Again, I'm bringing up things that are outside of our scope.
Yeah, it's mostly outside of our scope.
And the height limit is within the standards, so,
It's all within the standard.
okay. All right, well, I have no.
And are we closing public comment?
Let's see, I apologize. We have one more. Bill Miley, I apologize. We started getting into discussion.
Hello, I have a two-part presentation, short. We live on North Signal Street and moved in, bought there in 1978. In about 1983, we have a mother ash tree that now is about 80 feet tall, but it was 50 feet tall then. I mean, it was producing a lot of babies. And we had some adolescent ash trees that were about 5, 6, 10 feet tall. But they were being infested by white flies, and they were eating the leaves. What do I do? So I called the UC Extension people. And who shows up but Jim Downer? And he's a plant pathologist. He's worked there for years. So he says, I can fix that. So the next week he brought a box of little tiny wasps and let them go. And I never, ever had a white fly ever again.
Any stings from the wasps?
I remember
We
that.
just have wasps.
That's the sign over here. Okay, second thing is, the zoning calls for what, 30, 35 feet?
25.
25, and it's within 25, right?
Yep.
Okay. And the last thing I want to say is, Jim mentioned that the building is going to be insulated. And I'm really big on sound, as you know, and noise and insulation. And years ago, when we bought our house, which was built in 1960, it had nothing. No wall insulation, even no roof insulation. It was a terrible structure. We didn't know that. But we insulated the walls and insulated the ceiling, and you can hardly hear anything. And we live right next to Signal Street. You hardly hear them at all. So I would suggest that the Planning Commission ask Mr. Downer about the insulation that he's putting into his building, including double pane glass and such, because it really cuts down on the sound. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. All right, any other speakers online, Sherry?
Nope.
All right, we will close public comment.
Okay, Jim, let's go back to the insulation. Is it for sound, or is it for temperature, or does it accomplish both? And what can you tell us about your insulation plans?
Well, I have not decided on the insulating material I will use because it somewhat depends on, once the building is up, figuring out the depth that I can create to put the insulation on. And I believe the barn manufacturer provides insulation with the building. And if I deem that not to be adequate, I will add to it. And I don't have in my head the R value of the insulation they are supplying. My son is there, maybe he remembers. The windows will be double pane tempered glass. And like I said, we intend to have air conditioning so we can run things with the doors closed. So I'm pretty confident that it shouldn't be objectionable to anyone. The most highly impacted neighbor from this building would be 421 Andrew Drive, and their dwelling is separated from this building by a garage, which has no windows looking out on, in fact, none of their dwelling has any view of the barn. And so I think they are the closest ones. 420 Andrew, I talked to them and showed them our design, and they were good with it. After that, it gets to people on Drown Street, but their dwelling is over 100 feet away. And as you know, sound drops off with distance. So I just can't foresee this being an issue for too many people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. All right, discussion? Close public comment?
Closing public?
Yep, close public comment.
Okay.
Open discussion.
Yeah, I have been recently very concerned, as I think the whole city is, about fire and the fact that you are replacing a fire trap with a fire-resistant metal replacement. I think will make life safer for your entire neighborhood. So kudos to you for improving the fire chance of safety in your neighborhood. I think that your description was thorough. The only part that I got a little confused about was the power, the solar power supply and how you deal with Edison over that, but I think that's beyond my purview here, so I'm not going to get into that. So, sounds like a place where you're going to spend many happy hours, and that's great.
All right, anybody else? Jonathan?
No.
No? Okay.
You're good? Okay.
Robert?
I will make a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second that.
All right. I was just going to echo your comments. So I think this is a good addition to the neighborhood as far as fire prevention goes. Also, I noticed in the write-up, Jim had mentioned it's the current structure is not rodent secure. So
That's another reason the neighbors will be happy.
I think the neighbors will be happy with that, I believe. So that's good. But overall, I think it'll be a good addition to the neighborhood. But anyway, we got a motion, we got a second. Sherry, let's get a roll call.
Chesley,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes. All right. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Next one on the item here is, oops, where am I? Yeah, I'm getting my agenda out, sorry. Item number 3, we are on to informational items, future agenda items. Lucas?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So our next regularly scheduled meeting is September 3rd, and we do have one item that's going to be scheduled and be heard, which is cottages among the flowers. So and really what it's focusing on is the reordering of the phasing plan, and that'll be discussed in more detail. There's a phasing plan that went along with the approval of that, and that's what they've been following up to this point. There'll be more details, but that's what you'd be taking a look at.
Okay.
Reviewing, discussing, considering.
Okay.
Also, we will be making a decision at that meeting. It's not just a discussion item.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we will make a decision. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Will we have the information prior to our site visit? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not. If you like, I can provide you at least with an overview so you have some of that information. There's a lot of that stuff is already public information.
Right.
So but in terms of like an agenda staff report, no.
Okay,
No.
an overview would be very helpful. I would like to utilize the site visit time as effectively
Best
as
use of
we
your
can.
time. Makes sense.
In regard to that, we have, I think, do we have to, like, when do you suggest we do site visits?
We have a schedule.
Yeah,
No.
Okay. Oh, Sherry's got it all mapped out already?
Yeah.
That's it.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's-
apologize. My
Read
bad.
your email.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the emails have been swirling around, and I see that everybody's on the agenda. So
Perfect. And
Lucas, you've got the two-story barn in the review
Oh, yeah,
column down
good
at the bottom. You
call,
might want
Judy.
to remove that.
we look forward to removing that after tonight's decision. Yes, that's going away. September 17th. There are no items that are ready at this point. There could be by the time we get to 2 weeks out. So there is potential for consideration of cancellation. I'm just putting it out there right now. However, when we have the discussion on the 3rd, I'll have more information at that point.
Okay, all right. Director, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just, I will be out of town the 15th to the 17th. If we end up having a meeting, there's a slight chance that I'll be able to make it. Maybe a little bit late, but just FYI, I may miss that meeting if it's on the 17th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, thank you. All right, director's report. Back to you, Lucas.
So I wanted to remind you, check your emails.
Yes.
In regards to the item we just spoke about.
Yes.
And I also would encourage this body to pay attention to upcoming council meetings because there are items that this body would find interesting considering.
Okay,
Okay,
I like that. All right.
a tease.
A tease.
And without giving it away. So
That
I
is
think
a
it's,
little ominous.
look,
Like entertaining or?
pertaining to this body.
Okay.
For certain.
All right, well, that's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. All right. All right. Okay, commission member report. Anybody?
Nope.
Nope. Nope. Nope. Nope. Good. All right. Well, speaking of city council, our city council liaison is here. Kim, you're up. You don't want to elaborate on what Lucas just said? You, are you sure? Okay.
Just looking forward to, picking the.
You can come on up.
Just looking forward. I think I'll send emails tomorrow to see when we can start the interviews so we can
Perfect.
get the position filled and you guys can keep going and there's not a big lag.
That'd be great.
Good.
That'd be great.
So, thank you.
That'll allow Robert to take vacation if one of these days.
No vacations allowed, right?
Oh, this one's a vacation.
Perfect. So, thank you guys. Appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing what's happening.
Thank you.
Look, this department has been very busy. You're going to see that, especially with the next city council meeting coming up next week. So.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. Absolutely. All right. So with that, at 7:51, we are adjourned.